The Honorable Tony Daunt is on our AT&T line, the Executive Director of the Michigan Freedom Fund and a member of the Michigan Board of State Canvassers. And we wish you a very good Thursday. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Michael Patrick. I'm doing very well. How are you?
There is a story that just published in the Free Press that I thought was very interesting because we've got a situation now where we're trying to have faith in our elections. And the headline by Clara Hendrickson and Dave Boucher is Benson Analysis Blasts GOP Election Bills. Secretary says lawmakers, quote, embarrass all of us, end quote. That's pretty tough talk from the Secretary of State about the legislature, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredibly unfortunate, and I think Senator Ruth Johnson, state senator and former Secretary of State before Jocelyn Benson, put it very nicely in her comments in that story. That this, comments like that are basically, she said, it's WWE for politics. And, it's all pre-staged and pre-planned in its theater. And she's spot on. And, Jocelyn Benson has been engaged in this ridiculous inflammatory rhetoric related to the election proposals from the state Senate in particular, but state House as well, for a number of weeks now. And this is the same person and the same people joining her, Mike Duggan and other Democrat elected officials who spent months, years even, condemning the rhetoric of Donald Trump when he was president and during his campaign for presidency, really the past 5 years. And in many ways, they were right to condemn much of the rhetoric, especially the things he did and said to undermine our election process and the results. And you can't have it both ways. You can't say that rhetoric that's inflammatory from one side is damaging, but we're going to go out there and accuse virtually everybody in the state Senate and anybody who's a Republican and anybody who disagrees with them as, seeking to suppress the vote or racist or, any number of things that they're throwing out there. It is so damaging to the dialogue. It's so damaging to the ability for Republicans and Democrats to come together, come up with solutions that we can all agree are going to be helpful. And I wish they would stop.
Well, I don't. I always thought there was supposed to be a measure of respect for the elected officials, and I didn't realize that when you're the Secretary of State, you're able to just throw brickbats like that. I mean, that word, embarrassment, is over the top, like you said, and these are from Democrats who didn't like the way Donald Trump did business, and they've been asking for, some sort of collaboration. But these days, I guess everybody feels the end justifies the means, and if they're going to get a headline like the one she just got, she's got to use words like that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, and it's unfortunate. And I'm in my life in politics and as the head of the Michigan Freedom Fund and the various things I do, I don't shy away from a good fight and a battle and debating things on the merits and pithy headlines and that's all part of the effort and part of the game at times. But that type of stuff, embarrassment in throwing out charges of racism, all of that is so damaging, and it pushes people that they're accusing of this back into a corner and puts their back up, and then it makes them unwilling to listen to anything they have to say, that Secretary Benson has to say about any issue. And it shuts down dialogue, and it's incredibly unfortunate. I wish there were some mature Democrats in this state who would speak up against it and have that kind of consistency and honesty to condemn the remarks when they come from their own side.
Do you think that the changes, I guess you would call them, to the election system that the Republicans are proposing are an effort to keep people from voting?
Not in one iota of my body do I think that. I think that these are policies that are meant to address legitimate concerns that people have related to the security of our votes and the integrity of our votes and the system that goes into maintaining and processing our elections. I've pointed this out previously, but I think it's a perfect example. One of the things that this 39 bill package does is prohibits the Secretary of State from mailing out unsolicited absentee ballot applications. It puts that power in the hands of local elected officials or election officials who, in our state, are charged with administering elections. The reason for that is twofold. One, because those election officials are closer and more responsive to the people that they serve, and also because the Secretary of State proved that she's incapable of doing it properly this last election cycle by mailing out millions to people, and at least 500,000 of them coming back is undeliverable, and that doesn't even count those that were received by people, and they looked at it and they said, "Oh, this guy moved 15 years ago. I bought this house from him 15 years ago," and they threw it away. That creates problems in the system, and it makes people not trust the voter rolls that we have in the state.
Well, don't the changes also give more time for processing the ballots? Isn't that something that Jocelyn Benson desired and received?
It gives more time for processing, which you are correct. It was something that she wants. It allows 16-year-olds to pre-register. It creates an early voting day, and it establishes in statute the issue of drop boxes. It does a lot of things, but they just want to focus on the negative and throw bombs.
Tony Daunt, Executive Director of Michigan Freedom Fund. We'll keep in close touch. Michael Patrick Shiels, all across Michigan.